All right, well, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. I'm Andrew Ference, and I'll be your MC today. I got some extra time on my hands these days, so this is great. Thanks for having me. So today, we are in the Oilers Hall of Fame room to formally recognize and celebrate the Oilers Diversity and Inclusion Initiative as part of Hockey is for Everyone month across the National Hockey League. So the Oilers will be proudly supporting diversity and inclusion for the second consecutive year with a dedicated Hockey is for Everyone night tomorrow, February 22nd, when the Oilers take on Colorado here at Rogers Place. I've been told that the Oilers have a pretty special game presentation tomorrow to help celebrate, and Oilers Entertainment Group is proud to share that the players will be sporting pride tape during tomorrow's pregame warm-up versus Colorado. So this is going to be very powerful. The Oilers are, in fact, the very first NHL team to use pride tape. It debuted here. The multicolored hockey tape was actually born here in Edmonton by Calder Bateman. So I'm very proud of that. I know most of us are. And it symbolizes the message of inclusion during the 2016 Oilers Skills Competition where it was first debuted. Now, pride tape has been embraced across the game of hockey. We've all seen the pictures of different teams using it in warm-up, all the way from the pros down to minor hockey. It's pretty cool. It's a powerful vision of our game's cultural acceptance. And that culture of acceptance has evolved from the early days of Willie O'Ree breaking into the league with Boston to more recently when the Burke family brought You Can Play into our locker rooms. So the game of hockey is great, but the culture of hockey is what makes it very special. And as our league passes its 100-year mark, we realize that we must continue to evolve and nurture what makes this sport so special to everybody who takes part in it. So now we can take a look at the video screen above here, and we can see our Hockey is for Everyone PSA that the Oilers put out.
At the Edmonton Oilers, we have a saying, hockey is for everyone. On our team, in the critical moments, what matters is the strength of our character, not our skin color or our religion, gender identity, or sexual orientation. Because when we treat each other with respect and as equals, we're a better team and a stronger community. The official policy of the Oilers is one of inclusion, on the ice, in our locker room, and in the stands. Join us in our mission to make hockey the most inclusive sport in the world. Hockey is for everyone.
All right, well, that's good stuff. Nice. Well, good job, Jujar. I think that about wraps it up. So have a good, no, no, I think we'll stay around. We have a great panel, so I'll actually introduce them because they are the true experts on this. First of all, we're lucky to have in Edmonton actually, because he's usually traveling, the Honorable Randy Boissonneau, a member of Parliament for Edmonton Centre and special advisor to the Prime Minister on LGBTQ2 issues. We also have Jujar Kara, Oilers forward and Hockey is for Everyone ambassador. We have Dr. Cheryl McDonald, Edmonton's local You Can Play ambassador. We have Drew McRae, Edmonton Impact team captain and Edmonton Sled Hockey Club president. We have Lauren Weber, Edmonton Seahawks goaltender. And we have Leah Cryer, former collegiate hockey athlete at University of Denver, former president and coach of the Musquechees Minor Hockey, and coach of Team Alberta for the National Aboriginal Hockey Championship. So thank you all. This is a great panel. So before we jump right into the Q&A with our panel, I would love to have the Honorable Randy Boissonneau share a few words with us on how community leaders supporting diversity and inclusion can make a huge impact for all of us Canadians.
Well, thanks very much, Andrew. It's a great pleasure to be here as a kid who grew up in Morinville. And as a kid who didn't play hockey here until university days, when I played 3 games of rec hockey to sort of qualify in my own mind's eye, to then go to Oxford and try out for the Oxford Blues, and thank God somebody took pity on me and put me on the 4th line I actually learned how to play hockey in England, and it was part of reclaiming my Canadian soul. And I have a goal against the U.S. Air Force and an assist against Cambridge. That's it, 2 points. My whole hockey career. But look, the message is simple. It's a great honor for me as an openly gay man in Edmonton, not only representing our city and this part of our city in Ottawa, but also representing how progressive and dynamic this city is. And in that, I include the Edmonton Oilers. I include Calder Bateman. I include Isthmus and the great work that the team is doing there, because you don't make change without leaders. And Andrew, I think one of the first times I met you was maybe at a mayor's pride breakfast, and I think I came up to you and I said, you are like my physical version of Superman on earth. And because you led, and the Oilers led. And if we now have Hockey is for Everyone in 31 teams, it's because of the leadership in this city. And so I'm going to give a speech later this week on the economics of inclusion at the economic development. Actually, it's tomorrow. And the bottom line is this: at our workplaces, in our places of sport, in our school system, you want the best person to show up. And that means the whole person has to show up. And that's the whole person regardless of any physical disability, any mental health issues, any issues related to gender identity and expression, any issues related to sexual orientation, any issues related to gender. I mean, we have companies and organizations that still need to get to gender parity. And so there's a lot of work for us to do, but with initiatives like Hockey is for Everyone, we can embrace everybody. And here's the bottom line. If you have a workforce and a place where everybody's fully included, not only are the 15% who normally are there but don't show up perform, the whole organization performs better. And so a city like Edmonton performs better when we're able to embrace everybody and make sure that the whole person is able to show up for work. And that value just then creates more dynamism for the whole city, the whole province, and the country. So it's an honor to serve in this role as the Prime Minister's Special Advisor on LGBTQ2. I'm very proud of the Oilers and of Pride Tape, Calder Bateman, and others. I actually give Pride Tape out as a gift on the Hill. And I tell them it's right from my riding, right from my city. So hats off to the Oilers, to our Hockey is for Everyone ambassador, to you, Andrew, and I'm thrilled to be part of the panel today.
Man, we're lucky. We're lucky to have you, Randy. This city is very lucky to have a warrior. Hey, every time I see you, you're full of, you make people feel better. And we're lucky to have you on the Hill representing us, and I'm very proud to call you a friend as well. I think we did meet at Edmonton Pride Brunch, and going back to actually a good story of meeting up with Christopher Wells as well, and talking about Pride Team, talking about this, and talk about walking in a Pride parade. The Oilers have been incredibly supportive. I remember the first phone call I made to Craig McTavish to talk about doing a Pride parade, and it was an immediate yes, do it. It's the right thing to do. So the Oilers have been a leader, and Edmonton, I think, is a leader on these issues. It's pretty fantastic. So Oilers forward Jujhar Khaira is this year's Oilers Hockey is for Everyone ambassador. So across the entire NHL, players on every team stepped up to be leaders for this initiative. So thank you, Jujhar, for being a leader on this for the Oilers. By the way, that was a good goal last night. You picked the corner, perfect, right? That's right where you're aiming, right? That was a good goal. So quick question for you, Jujhar. Can you tell us what Hockey is for Everyone means to you personally, or for your teammates in the room?
Yeah, I think it's, it's huge. I think this is a strong message that everybody in the league feels strong about. And, it doesn't matter who you are, ethnicity-wise, race, if you're LGBTQ, if you have any disabilities. I think this is a game that brings everybody together. And, if we can have an impact on, just making someone take the extra step and enjoying the game, or, give them a little bit more confidence that you come into the game and you're going to be welcome. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's a game that everybody in Canada or North America has in common. And I think just for us in the dressing room, we welcome everybody. And the more people that play, the happier we are, the bigger impact we're making. And, just seeing people step up that aren't comfortable with it, and, getting, or, you know, listening to the message, hockey is for everyone, and being included in it. I think just seeing that it's a lot of pride in that, or we take a lot of pride in it. Just the more people that can play, I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Randy made a good point too about the locker room. A good team is a team where everybody can walk into the locker room and feel like they can be themselves. It's such a good point about a productive workplace. On a bigger sense, Jujar too, on a personal level, you know, locker room is a good point. But for the Oilers and the NHL, you know, for them to take this on and to make such a big deal of it, to have a whole month, you know, what do you think it means for them?
It's huge. If you look at us, the Oilers organization, we take a lot of pride in it, and it's one thing that we feel strong about. We want the community to come together. It doesn't matter who you are, or what you do. It's one thing where you want everybody to come in, have a good time, and smile and have fun. I think that's the biggest thing. If you can play the game and have fun, and you're welcomed. I think everyone's happy. No one's going to judge you or do anything like that. It's just, just go out there, have a smile, and enjoy the game like everybody else does.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. That's great. So, like I said, Edmonton's been a leader. We're fortunate to have immense local support right here in our city. Dr. Cheryl McDonald, who I've known for a few years, is a postdoctoral researcher at the U of A in the Institute for Sexual Minority Studies and Services, and she is the local You Can Play ambassador. So, Dr. McDonald, why is this initiative important for both professional athletes, but also for the youth, growing up and playing all types of sports?
Sure. I think the two are inherently connected. I'm going to wait for a minute. Okay. I think that I'm going to start with the youth. And so I think that, especially in Canada, but in general, as humans, we have a goal for people to feel welcome. And in Canada, we want people to play hockey, whether it's from a socioeconomic perspective or just a general social perspective. We want kids playing hockey. We want Hockey Canada to grow. We want kids in minor hockey. And I think we are really in love with that idea of Canadians playing hockey. And that's how you grow up. You grow up on the ponds and in the rinks, and everybody's dream is the NHL. And so I think that you start with the kids, and in order to have that happen, you want them to feel like they can play, because I know that we have research that shows that kids who identify as minorities, be it racial or ethnic, or members of the LGBT community, they don't always feel comfortable playing in their sport, and so they quit. And we don't want that. That's exactly what we don't want. So I think it's important to focus on youth to make sure that they know that they're included, they're welcome in their sport, and they can have fun just like anybody else. And I think one of the best ways to communicate that to them is the adults, is the professional ice hockey players, is the NHL, is the Oilers. I think that for anyone to see your idol make clear that not only are you welcome in your sport, but in a way you're both the same, you're both able to play hockey, one as much as the other. I think that's really meaningful, and I think that trickles down to communities and especially to youth. And so I think it's important for both, but we need one to sort of bump up the other.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Thank you, Dr. McDonald. I think we've talked about this before too, but I had an aha moment. I mean, I'm a straight white man. And so for me to know, what's my role in hockey is for everyone. It's hard for me to identify, but when I really realized the power of an ally, of somebody to stand beside people that don't have the same luxuries that I had growing up, it is a very powerful aha moment that I think a lot of hockey players are starting to realize, and that's why guys embrace this messaging around this month. So we're also, beside Dr. McDonald, we're lucky to have Lauren Weber with us today to share his love of hockey. So Lauren is the goaltender for the Edmonton Seahawks, and it's the city's only blind hockey team. He is also the winner of the Best Goalie Award in the Open Division for the 2017 Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament. And he brought some pucks today, and he was showing me, and I mean, it's an incredible sport. If you've never seen it, I have. It's absolutely incredible. So Lauren, can you tell us what playing hockey means for you and your teammates?
Thank you. So hockey to me starts a long time ago before I lost my vision. And I loved playing shinny hockey just where I grew up. I was my thing I look forward to doing, getting home from school, and I lived pretty close to my little town's arena, and my parents made the mistake of letting us flood the backyard to try to make our own rink one year. They just killed the grass. But then when I was a teenager, I lost my sight, and I thought, well, that's going to be it for hockey for me. So then I moved down to Edmonton here for university and discovered ASRAB, the Alberta Sports Rec Association for the Blind, and they introduced this blind hockey to me, and together with the National Blind Hockey Association, and really opened my eyes to a world of actually inclusion in this sport that I'd loved for my whole life. So just give everyone the first question most people ask is, what is blind hockey and how can you possibly play if you can't see that puck? So the puck is the focus of it, and it's a hollow metal puck with ball bearings in it. So it makes a lot of noise on the ice, so everybody can hear it, and it's a little bit larger, so that because most of the players, most of the skaters, forwards and defense have low vision. And it's myself, the goalies who are no vision at all. So we get to hear the puck and have it come to us instead of having to maybe get disorientated moving around. So it's inclusion is exactly that. It's doing something that maybe people around your society might believe you're incapable of, or you're and they're not even trying to exclude you from. But it's even just making them aware that adaptive hockey exists, and there's ways of making pretty much anything inclusive if you just try.
No, that's great. Thank you, Lauren. And congratulations, too. Best goalie. That's awesome. So Leah, you're up in the hot seat now, and you've been a tremendous leader for Indigenous youth hockey players. You've been a former player, a coach, and now you're a hockey mom. So maybe you could share with us why hockey is so important to your community.
I come from the community of Musquechees, and for us in Musquechees, hockey is huge. We probably have around 20 teams in terms of hockey and organized sport. And I was just talking about my cousin Myrna, who's been working as the arena director there for 30 years. So there's a real push in terms of making sure, hockey has been a part of our lives there. So many people have grown up playing hockey, and in terms of sport, it's the one organized sport that has made it through. I was talking to a fella earlier, and in regards to lacrosse, like it came in for 5 or 6 years and then it was gone. But hockey has been constant, and it's really brought the community together. You get fans out. In terms of hockey for myself and my family, like I think I just grew up just loving sport in general, and some of the adversities that we've gone through, like as a community, when it comes to go into other communities, and oftentimes we dealt with racism and stuff like that. But over the years, I've seen it get better. In terms of inclusion, I think hockey has a real powerful energy about it that it brings anybody. Look at everybody here that's a part of hockey and what it's done for them as a whole. So I'm excited to be here, and Musquechees hockey is growing. We have 20 teams. We go to all they're all in playoffs right now, which go Musquechees. But in terms of hockey, I'm thankful to be here, and I got to pretty much do every level, from a hockey parent to a player, to administrator, president, and you just see it growing in our community, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Oh, that's great, and it takes leaders like you to keep that strength going in your own community. And I know we talked earlier about the addition of a new outdoor rink right in the middle of town. You said it's packed morning to night, and you got to kick the kids off at some point. But the value of having kids playing so much, the value to their experience of sport, but also to the health of the community. Kids that are playing sport, they get better grades at school. So an incredible investment for community, and good to see that it's being so well used as well. So thanks, Leah. And last but not least, rounding out our panel is Drew McRae. And Drew is the team captain of the Edmonton Impact sled hockey team. So sled, if you've never played it, is incredible to watch and incredibly challenging to play. I've had the chance to play a few times, and let me tell you, it is hard. So when you see a game and you think it looks not too hard, trust me, it's hard. These are incredible athletes. So Drew, your team placed 4th at the USA Sled Hockey Classic in Minnesota this past fall, so congratulations. And what kind of impact do you think this kind of celebration, the Oilers Hockey's for Everyone campaign, can have on the celebration of diversity in the whole sport? Talking about hockey of all type.
Well, I think something like this will really help grow the sport even more. Even since I started playing in 2006, and I've seen we go from 2 small teams in Edmonton to we got 4 in the city, in the Edmonton area, and we now have probably, I think, 7 in the province. So it's growing quite a bit. We now have a league we can play in and play in multiple tournaments. So it's been quite good to see how diversity in the hockey has been able to help grow the sled hockey sport as well. So, and yeah, on your point about playing, it's a lot harder than it looks. First time out, you think you can get it, and you're going to probably be on your side half the time. So.
Yeah, incredibly challenging sport, and look forward to watching it as well in the upcoming Paralympics. So, and we have local representation, you were saying earlier?
Yeah, we have one player, Steve Arsenault, who's actually played for the bronze medal winning team in Sochi, and he's again part of the team going to Pyeongchang this spring. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, perfect. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Like I said, we have an incredible panel here today. I think that we can all agree that tomorrow's Hockey is for Everyone night is going to be very special. The Oilers are exceptionally proud to help drive positive change. Like I said, they jump on these issues because it's the right thing to do. They know that the importance of fostering more inclusive communities. They're dedicated to providing a positive and inclusive environment for their players, but also for the coaches, the families, their fans of every race, color, religion, national origin, gender, age, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, and those with disabilities. They do believe and they practice what they preach, that if you can play, you can play. And if you can coach, you can coach. And if you can cheer, well, you can cheer. So this concludes our formal portion of the program, and I want to thank you for attending. But all of our panelists will be available for one-on-ones. Hit them up. They are really great people in our community. So I hope that you talk to them and bend their ear a bit. And let's all do our part to be leaders in our community. So thank you very much for having us, and let's have fun tomorrow night too.